Welcome everyone to another Busy Webinar. This is Dave Meyer with BizzyWeb. Delighted to have you here. And as we go through each week, I'm going to share with you just a couple of brief housekeeping details before we get started. So first, wanted to share with you how you can ask questions during today's event. As you know, you can see the content of today's event by clicking the play button inside of the event, but you can also make that bigger after you've clicked play and go full screen to see all of the details. If you'd like to ask questions during the event, we do have folks standing by at the hashtag BizzyWebinar. So if you click on, or if you go into Twitter, or just click in here on BizzyWebinar, you can either watch the questions that are happening live here, or you can simply ask your own questions. If we don't get to your question during the event today, we will ask, or we will answer that via the hashtag or reach out to you directly if we have your contact information. So that's how to browse our content for the day. And again, you're at Measure Your Marketing, how to grow your business with analytics and evaluate your digital marketing campaigns. I am your host, Dave Meyer. If you would like today's slides, you can get a hold of me at dave@bizzyweb.com, or you can reach us at 612-4BizzyO-424-9990. BizzyWeb is a digital marketing agency based in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We do a lot of email marketing, of course, but we also do the best WordPress-powered web design in the business, and we integrate completely with social media, search engine optimization, email marketing, of course, but then also advertising programs and content delivery inside of our Buzz Builders marketing programs. So that's a little bit about us, and here's what we're going to do today. First, you want to grow your business, but you can't do that without marketing. Once you start using marketing campaigns for email, events, surveys, offers and promotions, donations, or social media, how do you really know if your marketing is working? The best way to tell is by using reports and analytics. Reports show you the outcome of a marketing campaign and measure a number of actions like open rates, click rates, the number of coupons sold, donations raised, etc. These tools help you measure the effectiveness of your campaigns, evaluate what worked and what didn't, and improve your next campaign by implementing the lessons you learned. If you're not measuring, you're marketing by using your emotions or guessing, and that's not marketing. The numbers you find in reports and analytics will tell you where you are today, and they can help you make decisions about where you want to go tomorrow. We're here because you've told us that you're interested in using reports and analytics for your business. In fact, we surveyed small businesses, and 3/4 of the small businesses we spoke to believe reporting and analytics will give them a business advantage. They also believe this data can help them retain existing customers. 67% of small businesses we surveyed see reports and analytics as tools they can use to improve retention. So let's get into our agenda for the day. First, we're going to talk about marketing with reports and analytics. Then we're going to get into a step-by-step overview of campaigns and reports, whether it's emails, events, surveys, offers and promotions, donations, or social media. We're going to go through what you need to measure in order to know if your marketing is working in those areas. We'll talk about how to evaluate a marketing campaign at the end and leave you off with a few extra spots for asking questions. So if you have any questions, again, go into our Busy Webinar today, and you can ask live via the BizzyWebinar hashtag. So if you look in here, you can click on that, just hit refresh if you're missing something, or you can go straight into Twitter and review. You can just click on latest and it'll pop up with the latest tweets that have been published. You're also welcome to send me an email at dave@bizzyweb.com, or you can give us a call if you have specific urgent needs. All right, so let's get right into the basics and get started with marketing reports and analytics. Marketing has changed. Some of the change is obvious, but we want to talk briefly about one of the changes that affects you and your ability to grow your business using all of the new online tools and their reports and analytics. This is a basic shift in the way you might find and keep customers with today's business climate. I want to give you a simple definition or framework of what marketing really is. You already know generally what marketing is. It's something specific, however. It's important that we're on the same page. My definition of marketing has 3 simple parts. You define an audience, a group of people you want to target. You reach out to them with a message that's specific to that audience. And as you seek to elicit a physical and measurable response, that completes the circle. A click, an open, like, registration, reply, call, purchase, referral, All of these are actions that represent a decision made by a person to react to your message. We just talked about how marketing is seeking to elicit a physical and measurable response. Your reports will measure the number of people who did and did not respond to your call to action. They are showing you what's happening with your campaign in the here and now. Analytics are the insights you get from analyzing and evaluating the numbers in your reports. Analytics takes your marketing to the next level by using the numbers from your information to make informed decisions and to explore different approaches to improve your campaigns. We're going to look at all the reports that are available to you. But before we do that, let's talk about something very important. Don't be afraid of low numbers in your reports. When you're really marketing, a low number isn't a failure. It's a great insight and data at very low cost. Low numbers give you a lot of information. They're guiding you to make changes that will improve your next marketing campaign. Something to keep in mind as you're using reports and analytics to measure and evaluate your marketing is don't stress about what everyone else is doing. Set goals and benchmarks for yourself and compare your results to the past campaigns over time, not to anyone else's. However, if you're really struggling to find a starting point, here's some standards for your industries. Entertainment is about 20%, hotels 21%, medical services 34%, and there's all kinds of other industry open rates available at bit.ly CT open rates, constant contact open rates. Now I'm going to show you the types of reports available to you for 6 campaigns: emails, events, surveys, offers and promotions, detail or deals, donations, and social media. We're going to go beyond looking at individual statistics, and I'll show you how to use analytics to compare different types of actions to each other within a marketing campaign to determine what you did well, what didn't work so well, and what to do differently next time. One of the chief benefits of using a marketing service provider like Constant Contact is the ability to get insight into what your audience is doing when they receive your communications. You can see if they're opening, forwarding, clicking, or sharing. In other words, if they're engaging with your content. So how do you reap any rewards from your metrics? You need to know what they mean, what trends to look for, and how you can leverage the information provided to improve your communications and achieve the measurable results you want. Let's look at the types of campaigns you might use and what information from their reports you should start paying attention to today. When you log into Constant Contact, you'll see an overall view of your marketing, of how your marketing is doing in the Reports tab. And you can look at an overall view of each campaign type. It's important to pay attention to all this, but you really do need to scroll down beyond the dashboard and take a deep dive into the reports for your individual campaigns to get the details you need to improve your marketing. We know this might be overwhelming when you first glance at your reports in Constant Contact, or if you're looking at your reports tools in your social networks. So here's a quick chart to how to reference reporting information that's available to you, as well as some important numbers you can start looking at and using today. This is a brief overview of each campaign type. I'll be taking a much deeper dive into each of the campaigns in the future. So let's start with email. Email reports will show you the open rates of your emails, the number of clicks, bounces, spam reports, and opt-outs, also known as unsubscribes. Of those, here's what you should be paying attention to. First is the open rate. The open rate tells you how many people opened your email, the percentage of people who opened it, compared to the total number of people you sent it to. The reporting features will also show you the information on an individual level: who opened your email and when they opened it, what day and time. When you dive deeper and analyze the open rate, it'll show you the audience preferences for things like frequency, content, and subject line. You'll know your winners, and you'll be able to separate out from the ones that didn't work. Look for patterns of high and low open rates and make correlations between the numbers and how often and when you sent, what you talk about in your emails, and how compelling your subject line was. You should also pay attention to clicks. This measures how many people clicked on the links that you offered within your email, how many of those clicks occurred for each of the links, and what percentage of your audience took that action. By analyzing the results of clicks, you can learn a lot about what audiences prefer. If you included links about your products, information listed to your website, or blog posts, the number of clicks will tell you which of those were the most popular with your audience in that email. And that information can help you shape future content to appeal to their needs. Next, let's focus on event campaigns. Reports for this campaign type show your audience's registration status, attendance rate, and payment status. When you're reviewing event reports, focus on the registration status. It tells you how many people have entered into the registration process for your event, or in other words, the number of people who are planning to attend or are interested in your event. This information, when analyzed, can give you insight into the factors like effectiveness of your event promotions and interest level in the event time or topic. Also review your attendance data when evaluating your event campaigns. Attendance is, of course, the number of people who actually went to the event, but analyzing these numbers will give you an indicator of success and give you more information about some of the factors we talked about earlier. Were your event promotions timely and compelling? Was your event topic, speaker, entertainment appealing to your audience? And were your numbers affected by the venue or time and date? When you run a survey campaign, the reports will tell you the number and percentage of people who opened your survey, clicked on links in your campaign, and responded to the survey. The response rate is the most important information in survey reports. Your results are more valid with a high response rate because it samples the majority of your audience. Using analytics on survey reports will tell you if your audience is engaged and invested in your organization. It tells you that they understood the goal of your survey, were able to easily complete the questions, and were engaged with your call to action. The simpler, the better for response rate. If your survey is too long, if there's too many questions, if it seems too daunting, you're going to see that response rate go down. Reports for offers and promotions campaigns will show the number of offers claimed or sold, the amount of revenue you made, the number of new customers who participated in the campaign, how much reach your promotion received, and the number of people who shared the campaign via social media and email. What will tell you the most about your success in offers with promotions campaigns? The number of offers that were claimed or sold, of course. When you analyze the data and have met or exceeded expectations, then you know you have an offer that your audience wants, the type of product or service that you promoted, and the offer itself, percentage off, dollar off, buy one, get one free, etc. Make sure your next offer builds on your success and targets your customers' actual wants and needs. If the promotion didn't work, sit down and compare your campaign to your audience's interests. Is this a product or service that's not popular among your customers? Was the discount or deal what they wanted? If you used a percentage off, you may want to consider a dollar amount for your next promotion. For donations, your reports will tell you the amount of funds you raised, what percentage of your goal was met, how many donors were contributed, and what the donation amount was per donor. When you're reviewing your donation campaign, you're going to focus on the amount of funds you raised and how many donors participated in the campaign. The amount of funds raised is pretty obvious. It's how much money you got. If you've met or exceeded your goal, analyze the results and keep track of what worked for you so that you can repeat it in your next campaign. If you didn't reach your goal, take a look at your efforts. What kind of content did you use in your promotions and appeal? Did it appeal? Did you send too many or not enough communications? How many tools did you use to get the word out? Did you only use email? Maybe you should broaden your audience by sharing your next donation campaign on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Instagram, etc. For social media, the reports and analytics are a huge topic. Each of these social networks has its own analytics tools and reports, and there are a lot of third-party tools that can also measure social media. All of these networks have different engagement actions and vocabulary. If you're interested in more detail about specific social media measurement, look at the Social Media 101 and, more importantly, the 102 campaigns that we talked about earlier in the month. There's a lot of detail in what to look through in reports, specifically in our Social Media 102, the What Comes Next, or your Social Now What event. And that was, I believe, from about 2.5-3 weeks ago. The two most important measurements to consider inside of social media are engagement metrics and click-through rate. When you're looking at these, you're seeing how many people interacted with a piece of content. Altogether, the engagement actions, remember the different terms used are different depending on social network, are public indicators of how interested your fans and followers are in what you have to say. Think of the click rate as a form of digital body language. Your fans or followers aren't being publicly vocal about your content, but a click shows interest. They want to watch your video, view your photo at its full size, or visit the website that you link to. When you analyze your reports and you discover that your engagement and click numbers are high, that means you've tapped into the topics and information your audience wants to see from you on social media. If they're not what you want them to be, then your content isn't doing enough to grab their interest. It's not being engaging enough. Think about factors like frequency and timing. Are you posting too often and turning your audience off? Are you not sharing enough content? Are you posting content on days and times when your audience isn't active on social media? Consider the type of content you're sharing. Multimedia like videos, especially on Facebook Live video, gets higher engagement than plain text updates. Consider using images or videos to capture your fans' attention. If you're talking about topics that your audience isn't interested in, you might see lower rates. And if you're balancing your content, that's going to help expand your click-through rate as well. You can't just talk about yourself all the time and sell things all the time. Social media is about having conversations and sharing things that help your followers, entertain them, make their lives a little bit easier, sharing tips, facts, links to blog posts, etc. Even just asking a question can help drive more engagement and clicks on social media. So we just reviewed reports for 6 different marketing types and what results you should pay attention to. What do you do with this? We're going to take a look at a couple of scenarios that could happen for some of the campaign types and use analytics to evaluate the numbers. So what if your results are low? Like we said before, don't quit. We're going to run through a couple of actions that you can start taking today to help you improve those numbers the next time you try. What happens when your results are high? Well, that's fantastic, but you can get even better results. And so we're going to talk about what to do when things are working and how to use that information to grow those numbers even more. Some of these suggestions are going to be repeated in these scenarios, and that's great news. It means that you can improve a lot of your results by using the exact same tactics. Let's start with email. This could be any email, a newsletter, an event announcement, survey invitation, a notification of a special offer promotion, or a donation appeal. You're reviewing your reports for an email and discover that you had a high open rate, but a low click-through rate. This means that people were opening your email, but looks like they weren't engaging with your content once they opened it or following your call to action. So let's start with the high open rate. That's a great result, but there are things you can do to make it better by analyzing your reports. The first is to find out what the best time and day is to send those emails. When you look at your high open rate, you'll see what date and time each of your readers opened your email. Start comparing that to the day and time you send your email. You should send your messages at the day and time your readers are opening them. They'll be more likely to check their email and see the message. Next, take a look at your subject line. What keywords do you think were interesting to your audience? Think about the keywords you've used in your subject lines on blog posts and social media and on your website to draw your audience's attention. Keep using those in your subject lines. Also consider segmenting your audience by interest. You can create separate email lists for different audience interests and send emails that talk about the topics they like. They'll open emails that talk about their interests in the subject line. Now, the low click-through rate. How can we improve it? It's showing that our audience isn't interested in the links that were offered in the email. Here's what to do next. Review your calls to action in your email. Consider the wording in your call to action. Is it clear? Are you telling people exactly the action they should take when they get a sense of what matters to them? Look at your email template and design. Is your email template mobile friendly? Using a mobile friendly template, you can choose a one-column template so your message is easy to read on a mobile phone. If there are multiple columns, they might shrink to fit, and that results in itty-bitty tiny text that readers might have to pinch and zoom to expand. Think about how much content is in your email as well. People don't have the time to read long emails, and if they're on a mobile device, they don't want to scroll. Our recommendation is to have no more than 3 articles in an email, and keep those articles short. Include a sentence or 2 and a link to your website so your audience can find more information. And if you have too many articles, you might have too many links and calls to action. When you give people too many choices, they're not sure what they should click on, and so they probably won't click on anything. Let's look at a different scenario. What should you do if you had a low open rate and a high click-through rate? This tells you that although not many people opened your email, the ones who did were very interested in your content. Why might you have a low open rate? Well, your timing and frequency could be off. We talked about this with high open rate. Are you sending at the times and days that people would be most likely to read your email? Are you sending too often or not enough? It could be an issue with your subject line. If the subject line isn't compelling enough, might not contain keywords that appeal to your audience's needs, or if it doesn't get to the point in a few words, the subject line isn't going to be as effective. If it's too long, if it's more than 5 to 7 words, it could get cut off by your recipient's email services or their phones. The email's content might not match up with your subject's audience interests. As you review your open rate and click-through rate, you're learning more about what content and keywords they respond to. Send emails about the topics they like, and don't waste time creating content they won't read. A high click-through rate is fantastic. Your audience wants to know more about the resources you're linking to in your email. Here's a few things you can do to make your click rate even better. Format your links so they stand out when your readers open in your email. Use buttons or put white space around them. Make sure the links are spaced out for mobile readers. If they're too close, it's really easy to click on the wrong link with your finger. If you're using these reports to get to know your audience better, keep track of what's getting the most attention in your emails. Narrow down the links you offer to fit the topics, products, and services that they want to read about. The last thing you can do is take that knowledge of your audience and segment it. Your reports allow you to view the people who clicked on individual links and create a list from those people. Segment your audience into different lists by action and target them with content relevant to what they're looking for. Let's turn from email campaigns to another reporting scenario, events. When you're running event campaigns, your goal is to fill seats. What can you do with promotions to make that happen? Let's start with a great possible scenario, low registration rates, but high attendance rates. How can we analyze these to make this even more successful? Well, if your registration was lower than expected, what might have caused that? One of the questions to ask is, did the time, date, and location work for your audience? Think about your audience's availability. Ask them what days of weeks and hours work best for them. What about the location? Is it easy to get to? Is traffic bad? Or is there some other extenuating circumstance? How long would it take them to travel there? Review your registration form. Are you asking your registrants for too much information up front? Don't put too many roadblocks in front of that first required step. You should ask them to register and then send a follow-up afterwards. If your attendance is better than expected, that's great. What can you take away from this event and apply to the next event? It might be that the day, time, and location worked for your attendees. This is a good time to survey your attendees while the event is fresh in their minds. Ask them what they liked about your event, what didn't work. Give them specific choices and survey questions, and leave some space for open-ended questions, but not too much. Another thing to consider is sending a reminder to your list prior to your event and include multimedia, some photos or video from your last event so they can see what they'll miss out on if they don't attend. On the other hand, how do we evaluate reports that have a high registration rate but low attendance? If you want to increase your registration numbers for your next event, think about expanding your event promotion reach with multiple communication tools. Don't just rely on email. Don't just rely on social media. You need a mix of everything. So do everything you can to bring in more people to increase registration numbers. Share a video, show your best photo from your last event, and link to the online photo album from the last one so they can get a feel for that event. Provide an incentive, get an early bird discount if they register at a certain date, or send them the discount to last year's attendees first and tell them it's an exclusive offer to register. If your registration was high, but not all of your registrants attended and your numbers were lower than expected, to improve your next event, look at logistics. What was the date, time, and location something that worked for your audience? When would they be able to attend your event? Was the location too far away to drive, or was there some other problem like parking? Consider offering incentives to your attendees. What can you give away? It'd be a great discount, could be a coupon, could be a free book written by your speaker, or a chance at a giveaway or raffle prize. Also, did your attendance reminders, or did your eventees get attendance reminders? They might have registered and forgotten about it. Send them a thank you and then a follow-up with last-minute details so your event is top of mind. Let's look at one final campaign type, social media. It doesn't matter what social media network you're using, Facebook, Twitter, or Pinterest are a few. You want your fans to view and interact with the content you're sharing there. How do you increase those odds? To make things simple, we're going to look at some reporting scenarios with Facebook content and analyze those results. Facebook's the biggest social network. It's got 1.5 billion people on it, and many businesses and nonprofits are already using it. You shared a piece of content on Facebook that got high engagement, but low clicks. What do you do next? Well, if you got high engagement, that means content was compelling to your fans. They were interested enough to offer their comments, hit the like button, or share with their friends on Facebook. You can grow engagement by paying attention to the content that's getting good results. What topics are people responding to? Share more of what meets people's interests. What about the type of content that you're sharing? Do your fans respond to text posts, links, blog posts, photos, or videos? Keep track of what's getting attention and share the most popular. One more factor to consider is timing and frequency. Are you posting at a time when many of your fans are looking at Facebook? Facebook will tell you the most popular times to post for your fans. So make sure that you're tracking that and that you post during those times. The best news of all is that you can schedule posts via the Facebook scheduling tool and post content at the times and days that work best for them. So what about a low click rate? Start with your call to action. Maybe it wasn't compelling enough. Did it tell your audience why they should click on the links, photos, or videos? Tell your fans what's in it for them. What's the benefit of clicking your content? The next thing to consider is visuals. People interact more with visual posts than just plain text updates. Did you use an image with your content? Was it interesting? Was it a stock photo? Think about using a real photo of you, your staff, or your customers, your products, or behind the scenes of your business instead. Finally, look at your frequency. Are you posting too much? Scale it back. Fans are frustrated if they see that a business is dominating their newsfeed. If you're not posting enough, be consistent on social media so that your fans see that you're active. If you're not posting at all, you're not visible, and you're missing an opportunity to connect with your audience. So let's switch it up with low engagement but high click rate. What happened here? Well, low engagement can be caused by posting content that's not interesting to your fans. When you're using social media to reach out to your customers, you need to ask the question, what's in it for them? Follow the 80-20 rule to balance your content. 80% of what you post should be interesting, engaging, useful, and entertaining to your fans. And then 20% can be about your business. Not necessarily a buy now, but what to do next. We talked about using insights to find the best day and time to share your content. If your fans aren't using Facebook on Mondays at 7 a.m., then don't post at that time. Target your posts for the times and days that a majority of your fans will be using Facebook, and the more likely they are to see your content. If you haven't been sharing photos or videos, start using them in your Facebook marketing. People interact more with visual content than a sentence or blocks of text. If you have a high click rate but a low engagement rate, that's still good news. It means that people who clicked on your content were motivated to interact with it. They clicked on your link, enlarged your photo, or watched your video. Get better results by including a compelling call to action. Don't assume they're going to watch the video. Tell them to click on it. Spell out the benefit of reading the blog post you're linking to. How will it make their lives easier, entertain them, or educate them? Keep track of what's getting the most clicks, links, photos, or videos. Keep posting the content they're getting on the most attention, and don't be afraid to switch it up once in a while just to keep checking. Finally, use Facebook as a place to offer exclusive content. Tell your fans that this is the only place they'll find a special offer, discount, video, or giveaway, and they need to click to reap the rewards. One brief note on that, make sure that it actually is, because people can tell if you send things out in email or have things on your blog and you claim that they're exclusive. So I want to skip back for a second and talk about reporting. Did you notice with all the campaigns reports that we talked about earlier had one thing in common? That's click-throughs. No matter what you're using, email, events, surveys, offers or promotions, donations or social media, you can measure click-throughs. This goes back to what we talked about earlier in the webinar, the importance of measuring actions. Click-through rates measure exactly what actions your audience is taking. When you analyze click-through results in your reports, you're going to learn a lot. Click-throughs give you an idea of what content people like, what products they're interested in, what calls to action work, and what keywords appeal to your readers and multimedia that's interesting to them. What you ultimately want to do with click-throughs is drive people back to your website, your social networks, your business, and your location. The campaigns you create need to have calls to action that will take them to your properties so they'll continue to buy, learn, read, watch, comment, engage, and subscribe to your business. You're keeping your business top of mind and growing relationships. I want to switch over to how to evaluate your marketing campaign. But first, I'm going to give it a quick check to make sure that we don't have any questions on Twitter. Again, if you go inside of the event today, you can click on the BizzyWebinar hashtag right here on BizzyWebinar as highlighted, or you can just refresh the window here and see what's going on. You might also want to just open up a new window with twitter.com/BizzyWebinar, and that'll take you into the post. We don't see any questions, so it must mean that we're doing a good job. But if you have any questions or would like to ask specific things, again, either tweet to the hashtag #BizzyWebinar or just send us an email, and I'll go through that content again in a moment. All right, a lot of talking, so I'm going to take a quick sip of water. Let's talk about how to evaluate a marketing campaign. Whoa, fingers. Let's evaluate a marketing campaign for a small business called Half Moon Yoga. And yes, very cute, haha, Half Moon Yoga. Half Moon Yoga recently launched their new website. They want to make their customers aware of the website and drive traffic to it. The first thing Half Moon Yoga needs to do is set a goal. In their case, the goal is to drive people to that new website. Since they're sending an email campaign, Half Moon Yoga will look at the open rate and click-through rate to determine if this campaign was successful. The average open rate for Half Moon Yoga is 16%, and their average click rate is 7%, so they want to meet and exceed their average for this campaign. Then they should create a campaign that will help them reach their goal. They're going to use an email announcement as a way to simply inform their customers about their new website. They're using some tips we talked about earlier and the what-ifs. They're creating an email that's not too long. It has information that their audience is interested in and listed the benefits of their new website, like better class schedule, a yoga forum to ask questions, and a section where their instructors have posted video tips to help members perfect their posing. The email doesn't overwhelm readers with too many choices. It has a single call to action, which is a link to the website. They're sending this email in the evening because that's when they usually get information from their customers. Next, they'll send the email to their customer list. A few days after the email is sent, they've checked their email reports. Their open rate was 12%, so they fell short of their open rate metric, but their click rate was 10%, higher than their estimate. Remember the what-ifs we looked at earlier? Half Moon Yoga has a low open rate, but a high click rate. So they need to analyze their numbers to discover what they could improve to get a better open rate. Was the subject line compelling? Was it too long? Did they send it a good day or time or date of the week? As for the high click rate, the customers who did not or who did open the email showed more interest in the call to action of this email than in other emails. What worked for them in this case? They kept their content short and only talked about the website and its benefits, reducing the distraction for their readers. After analyzing their reports, Half Moon Yoga knows what to do for future emails. They can get a higher open rate with a better subject line to grab readers' attention. Their open rate revealed that they should send their next email during the morning because that's when most of their opens took place. Their click rates will go up if their future emails have shorter content and offer tips or advice that will benefit their audience. When their audience sees something that will benefit them, they'll click on the links to get more information. You can do exactly what Half Moon Yoga did, and we've made it easy for you. This is a worksheet that you can use for future campaigns. We filled it out with the Half Moon Yoga campaign so you can see an example of how to use the worksheet. As a note and as a reminder, if you would like this document, this presentation, just send an email to dave@bizzyweb.com. That's DAVE at BIZZYWEB.com. I'll have a link in a moment as well to request this presentation and this handy sheet. The next time you create an email campaign, write down your goal, then think about which campaign you'll use to achieve that goal. Think about the metrics for that campaign type. Which of those will define success for your campaign? Create and send or share your campaign, then write down your results for those metrics. Take a look at your campaign and think about what worked and what didn't. Write down what you've learned for this campaign and apply it to your next one. We've gone through a lot of information today, and to help you move forward, I suggest the next steps. First, as you build campaigns and data, set benchmarks for yourself. What are the metrics that will define your success? We showed you the comparison by industry chart for email. Start with the average for your industry and compare it with the marketing you've already done. Find your own trends for these metrics and start trying to grow your numbers from those reports. Again, don't worry about one or two low numbers. Focus on your overall trend and try to improve it over time. If you haven't already, set a frequency to review your reports and make changes to your marketing. Check each individual campaign. Once a quarter, sit down and look for common themes, things you did well, things that didn't go so well, and apply them to your marketing. Keep an eye on things as you go. Write down things you notice and review them as you're doing your quarterly reporting checks. Think about the what-if situations we covered earlier. Compare your numbers to see what's working for you and some things you can improve on. And finally, when you decide to make some changes, don't change everything at once. Be strategic. Focus on one change at a time. Too much is confusing for you to keep track of and for your audience. Once you make reporting and analytics a regular part of your marketing, you'll be able to make smart decisions that engage your customers and drive more business. All right, so I have an exciting thing for you guys today. For folks that aren't already Constant Contact customers, as a webinar attendee for today's event, if you send an email or if you click on constantcontact.com/event-Meyer, you can get Constant Contact for $5 a month for the next 3 months for an unlimited list size. So you can upload all of your stuff, and for $15, you can get all of the email marketing that you'll need, including all those groovy reports we talked about earlier. And when you pay, you'll get access through BizzyWeb, since you're clicking on this link, to a free template at the end of that timing as well. So check it out. Be sure to update that. And again, this is only something that's available during the month of October. So if you're watching this after October, I apologize, but the offer no longer applies. And it's only available since you registered today. So I know that you're registered for this event, and they're going to check that against the details. So $5 a month if you want that for their next 3 months. It's $15 to get all the email marketing you can need. If you want more resources, go to BizzyWeb.com/events. That's where you can find the Social Media 102 event that I mentioned before. And you can just search 102, or you can search Your Social Now What to get more detail on how to measure social media. You can also get a 60-day free trial if you don't want to enter in your credit card information. Just go to BizzyWeb.com/cc, follow the link, and you can sign right up. And there's a lot more detail at blogs.constantcontact.com/library. That's the actual link that we talked about that had the industry click-through rates. Finally, if you're not subscribed to our newsletter, sign up by sending a text to Bizzy, B-I-Z-Z-Y, watch the autocorrect, to 22828. And what we do with that content is we send you helpful tips and tricks on how to improve your marketing, as well as invites to our next events. So if you'd like to attend any of our events in the future, that's an easy way to get the content that you need delivered to your door instead of having to go to BizzyWeb's website to see what's coming up next. As I promised, here's how to get a hold of me to request today's PowerPoint deck. Just send an email to dave@BizzyWeb.com, or if you need to get a hold of us, call us at 612-4BizzyO, 424-9990. As one final thing, if you'd like to take a look at your marketing, how your website is doing, and how your search engine optimization is looking for your website, just go to BizzyWeb.com/buzz and you enter in your web address, a keyword that you'd like to get found for, and your contact information. And then 45 seconds later, a handy report will pop up. It's about a 10-page report that includes 2 pages of checklists on what you can do to improve your results. This is 100% free. It's not going to sign you up for anything crazy or weird. It's just a handy thing that we like to extend to our customers because we care. Thank you all again very much for hanging out with me today. I am Dave Meyer with BizzyWeb. Thank you so very much for having us. And remember, at BizzyWeb, we help you generate buzz without getting stung. Have a great week.